Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is going to be my review of Andre 3000's new album, New Blue Sun. So, after 20 years of Outkast's last full-length album being released, the illustrious, ever-talented Andre 3000 has decided that it's time for him to finally release his debut solo album. What fans weren't expecting when they heard this was for it not to be a rap album. In fact, this thing is the pure opposite. As many people have heard at this point, especially because I'm a little late to this review, Andre is doing an ambient album. Not only that, but it is primarily led by him playing different types of flutes. That being said, this is not going to be a normal review of any sort. I'm not super well versed in ambient music. I don't know the correct terminology, and I'm just not super well versed in it. I do listen to some instrumental music, but this type of instrumental music is really foreign to me, and this is really my first time getting into this music of any sort. So this is more going to be me kind of having a discussion, or I guess just sort of rambling about the project and how I feel and what the project means. The album is 8 songs long and is an hour and 27 minutes, and I almost don't know where to start with this. For one, as I said, it's harder because I don't listen to this, but the album as a whole, at least to me, feels like an entire experience. It's hard to go into this and just speak on one portion because the entire album feels like it's one big experience, like it's meant to be listened from front to back, as many albums are meant to be listened to, but this is just different. You don't have necessarily each song doesn't have a different story that's going on, with no lyrics. It's not like you have this overarching story. It's just this sort of emotion or this feeling that you have listening to the entire project. And so it's, I think, is best taken in as a whole. But I know for many people it's kind of hard, especially if you're just doing the listening, like you're not doing anything else with it. It's hard to just listen to an ambient album for an hour and a half. It's very hard. I mean, I couldn't do it. My first listen through, I was kind of just on my phone and just listening along, but it was hard for me to. I mean, ambient music is basically made to just be background. It's not like a main focus, I don't think, for many people. I'm sure there are some people, but yeah, for me, that's kind of how I feel. So it's hard for me to talk about any one specific point in the album. I don't necessarily have a favorite song as of now. But yeah, the songs here range anywhere from 3 minutes all the way up to, I think the longest one's 19, the last song or something like that. It's pretty crazy. Um, but you don't necessarily feel the length in these songs. When you're listening to a rock song that's 6, 7, 8 minutes, you feel it because you're hearing these drastic changes, and especially with the lyrics, you are really feeling all that. Whether you like it or not is different. But with the ambient album, especially because much of this is improvised, as Andre said in an interview, much of this was improvised as he was playing it. I guess as he was recording, there's really no structure to the entire thing. You really have no sense of time when listening to this, unless you're actually checking the time throughout listening. It kind of is just going on with what you're doing. I mean, every time I've listened to this, I basically have no idea when one song starts and when another one begins. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. As I said, I think it creates a really nice dynamic for the album, and it makes it feel like it is one big experience. And it almost would have been interesting if this was just released as one long song. I know that'd be absolutely nuts for one song to be an hour and a half, but he wouldn't have been the first artist to do something like that. There are plenty of bands that they'll release an album and it will be 90 minutes and it is 3 songs or 2 or even just one song. So it wouldn't be completely unheard of, especially if it's ambient music. And then for many people, you could just, if you wanted to listen to it, you just put it on and you just skip to the part that you like. or just, a random place through it. But yeah, there is many moments on this thing where it's not like any specific part. Like I can't say like, oh, on track 3 there is this moment at 2 minutes in where I'm really paying attention. But there's just different moments each time I listen to where I'm really listening to it and I'm very intrigued by what I'm hearing. But then there are other times where I'm listening to this and I am not paying attention at all, and I basically almost forget that I am listening to music or I have anything going because it's so just almost around me and it is becoming part of the experience that I'm doing, or it's just there, which I feel like is a good thing at times, but bad at others, because you're like, how much did I just listen to? How long is this actual song been playing? What did I miss? So sometimes I do find myself having to kind of rewind and go back and see what I missed. But other moments you're hearing it but not really paying attention. So I think that kind of adds to my enjoyment level, or at some points takes it away. Speaking of which, I did have a very hard time actually scoring this thing. I wasn't sure if I wanted to score it, but I almost kind of feel like it would be wrong if I didn't, as every video of mine has a score. So I was thinking about a 70%. That's not a solid score, but that is my enjoyment level. I would say it's not like it's like, obviously this isn't an album that I enjoy the most, but there's plenty of albums that I have liked far less than this. But, as I said, this is not a solid score. So if you ask me in a month or 2 months or even a year from now how much I like this, I might say it's like an 80%. I might say it's like a 50%. It's just, I think, how the album is with me at that time. And I think right now, maybe it's sort of like this very like moody weather, and since winter's coming, I think it kind of fits really well right now. And I think this could also be a very good summer album as well. But right now I think it does pair really well with the cold weather, at least where I am. And so yeah, that's what I'm feeling as of now. I can't wait to see what Andre does in the future. I hope he continues to put out more music. It doesn't have to be obviously ambient. I hope he just kind of I would love to see him keep experimenting with different types of music, whether he stayed instrumental or if he did get back into singing or even rapping. I know he talked about that right now he can't see himself rapping. But, I mean, on Speakerboxxx Love Below, there are plenty of songs where he was singing, so maybe if he did a little bit of R&B, or even delve into some pop a little bit, or jazz, or some blues, I would love to see him delve into all these different genres and really see him expand and continue to experiment with his sound. I think that'd be fantastic. As many people have talked about, I'm sure that this album will be sampled plenty of times in the future, especially amongst the rap community, so I'm really excited to see that. And yeah, that's my review for this album. I know it's basically me just rambling on, but yeah, that's how I'm feeling about this one. Thank you for watching. You can check me in the next video, subscribe to see more, and of course check out my Instagram and TikTok daily song suggestion series. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye now.